All right, welcome. Hold on, my hair looks crazy.
Savage.
Savage. All right, in 3, 2.
Fix my hair too.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I'm Jenna Cottrell. We're going to talk Bills and Bengals. Before we do that, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Dan is making a joke at me because earlier today I introduced him as Dan Cottrell.
Yeah, that happened.
Welcome to the family. Look at that.
That makes you my brother, so there's
That's
that.
it.
All right,
That's nice.
Let's talk about this game. Divisional round, Bills, Bengals. We know earlier on in the season there was supposed to be the game. Obviously, Damar Hamlin went down. That game was canceled. Great news is Damar Hamlin continues his incredible recovery. Now these two teams meeting in the postseason. We know this is going to be quite a matchup in this one. Mike, where do you think there's a point for this Bills team to capitalize?
Yeah, I think they have to get after the Miami offensive or the Cincinnati offensive line. I mean, this is a team that's banged up. They're missing 3 players on that line. The Bills, they need to figure out a way to get Joe Burrow off of his spots. He is a precise quarterback. He's got great weapons. When he has timing, he can be lethal offensively. But I think that offensive line issue is going to be a problem. Look, this would be a great game to have Von Miller. I think you could say that every week.
Yeah.
When you look at what the pass success rate has been, pass rush rate for this team, with and without Von, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Not that players aren't playing well, but Dan, they brought Von Miller in for a reason.
Yeah.
These were the games you brought him in for. Other guys need to step up.
But I think you also need to get there with 4. I think that's a big key. I know we've talked about delayed blitzes. You talked about it with Ross Tucker, also on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. But I think the fact is, when they've had most success against high-powered offenses, and we can disagree on what a high-powered offense this is, Mike, but I think you want to have as many guys back in coverage. We've seen them do that against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and at times that has worked.
Yeah.
Getting there with 4 so you can have 7 in coverage. With the weapons that they have, Hayden Hurst, I know it was only 7 plays, but they marched down the field on the Bills last time. And I know it was a small sample size, but that has me a little concerned because I think for a lot of this season, the Bills' pass defense has had me worried. I thought they actually did pretty well against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
But I don't want to let Jamar Chase and those guys run free.
I think, and you bring up the point about, some of those shorter completions. Yeah. I think you just can't let Joe Burrow get into a rhythm because that's when those big gashes can happen. And that's when the Bills, once they get on their heels, we've seen the Bills defense be that bend, don't break type of model, but they really have to hone in on that because this is a type of offense that can break down the Bills defense.
Dan mentions Hayden Hurst and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon.
That's a lot.
Across the board.
Yep.
There's not a weak link there.
No.
The weak link is in front of him.
Yep.
And if you want to stop Joe Burrow, he can't throw from his back. Like, that really is what you have to do.
No,
and he has taken sacks before, and they survived last year, won those games, and got to the Super Bowl. That's tough to do again, and I think that's a key. And I mentioned those delayed blitzes.
Yep.
I think they found something. I think, look, Milano was so good at it, and Tremaine Edmonds at the right moment, at the right time. You're not doing this nonstop.
Yep.
I think you're right. You get there with 4, it makes things so much better. But I think you can use those guys in moments with a blitz and get after the quarterback and keep him from getting those throws. And you said it, keep him off his rhythm, keep him at where he's not making those plays.
I think it's also interesting, obviously we can talk about how the Bills didn't play great against Miami. We kind of talked about the fact that they were playing with their food a little bit, kind of got complacent. It's not like the Bengals blew out a backup quarterback in the Ravens. Now again, you're talking about teams that are facing each other for a 3rd time, very familiar opponents. But what is one thing that sticks out to me that I was thinking about is the Ravens play a very physical style of game. They are a smash-mouth, old-school football team. And sometimes, if you don't necessarily wear them down during the game, it can have a lasting effect after 18 weeks of the season. The big joke or the stat is that every team that played the 49ers this year lost the following week.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that is, along with the Bengals missing 3 offensive linemen, of the physical toll. Miami wasn't a physical game. Yeah, they sacked Josh Allen 7 times, but it wasn't a smash-mouth kind of football game like that Ravens-Bengals game was. I just wonder if that has any effect.
Yeah, and by the way, even though some guys rested, this 2 weeks in a row, they're playing the Baltimore Ravens.
That's a really good point.
So, yeah, there were different guys playing. I think that's a factor. Both teams, backup quarterbacks and division opponents.
It kind of is interesting.
And they survived and moved on.
And we talked about there's no style points in this, but there were points of that game for both teams that were very ugly. And when we talk about the Bills, Dan, it's the turnovers.
It's the turnovers.
It's the turnovers.
Absolutely. And it's the fact of just continue to move the chains. Not everything has to be a home run throw or a strikeout. There has to be some middle ground in this.
Okay, I'm going to be Sean McDermott here.
First
I'm
of all,
going to
I
take
feel like that would be you, though.
inappropriate
At the plate.
timeout.
No, I was solid single up the middle guy.
Mistimed timeout, but I'm going to take it right here.
Hit me.
You say, don't be overly aggressive. I say, you turn it over in the pocket with a safety blitz because you didn't show any motion to try to help Josh Allen determine the defense. You didn't have anybody chipping on the guy coming off the edge, and he gets hit. That's not being overly aggressive. That's bad play calling and bad execution.
Agreed.
I don't think the turnovers always are necessarily a result of being overly aggressive.
Yep.
You know, but to your point, there were times in that game where I'm like, I know you have single coverage. You don't have to throw it down the field every time. That's on Ken Dorsey and on Josh Allen.
Well, and Josh talked about it. He said the one mistake that he made in that game and the one that sticks out in his mind was the deep throw to
John Brown.
That was and he was like, I didn't need to do that.
Yep. And you made a great analogy about basketball.
Yeah.
And the fact of, and I know people commented in saying, you know, the Dolphins played cover zero and you had one-on-ones down the field. Yeah. Okay, they gave that to you. You didn't have to take it every single time.
Yeah.
Because one-on-one down the field at 50 yards is different than a check down to a one-on-one to a guy that's 5 yards from you.
And the analogy to basketball is you make those threes, awesome. You hit those big plays, it's great. When you miss, it's long rebounds, they're going the other way. And a 15-point lead is down to 2 pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's the difference when you look at it that way. And again, I think it's a little bit of play calling, but it's certainly execution. And by the way, we can't pin this all on Ken Dorsey and Josh Allen because Matt Milano missed a wide open fourth down play on a tackle. They left a big return on that interception. You don't have to let the guy go 50. A big kick return on a punt.
Yeah.
They made a lot of mistakes as a team, especially in that second quarter going forward. We keep saying you can't do that, but it's probably the Bengals and the Chiefs if you're going to move on.
Correct.
You really can't do it.
And to me, I did a video on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel about why Josh should take the cheese. It's take what the defense is giving you. It's what Leslie Frazier is most impressed about Joe Burrow, that he takes the 4- and 5-yard completions. And I'm not saying that Josh can't or that he has to learn it. He just has to remember it. In 2020, Josh's completion percentage was 70%. The last 2 years, it's been 63%. That's good, okay? But he hasn't been at 63% the last 5 games.
Yeah.
That is, again, being a little bit too overly aggressive, a little bit trying to do too much, and just take the 5-yard completion, move the chains, get into 2nd and 5, 3rd and shorts, and move the chains.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, Mike, I want to start with you then. What is your prediction for this game?
Look, I like the Bills in the game. I've been back and forth. I was back and forth on that Monday night game, and that was in Cincinnati, and the Bills were favored, and of course, we didn't really get a chance to see it. That was one of the most highly anticipated regular season games, maybe of the whole year. And now it's been pushed back with everything that went on. Oh, and by the way, now it's a playoff game to go to the championship. I think having this game at home is huge for the Bills. They're comfortable in Orchard Park.
Yeah.
They play well. They find a way when they're there. I think these are two different teams, but pretty evenly matched with great quarterbacks and well-coached teams on both sides of the ball. I have the Bills winning it in the 20s. I've got Buffalo taking it 27-23 to advance.
I have this game being even lower scoring just because I feel like while these are two great offenses, Dan is literally shaking his head at me. I feel like also when Dan does his pick, Mike and Dan are just going to fight. But I will say I have this game being lower scoring just because with it being the postseason, I feel like everything you have to just fight that much harder for it. Now, look, the Bills need to capitalize on the fact that the Bengals offensive line is beaten up. They need to get after Joe Burrow. But at the same point, Buffalo needs to protect the ball. I do have the Bills winning this one. I have the score being 24-21. I think this is going to be that hard-nosed football. I don't expect this to be a high-flying game because of what's at stake and how much of a grind it will be. And Dan is literally shaking his head.
So he's disagreeing with me and with you.
You know what? We disagree with you.
So cup of coffee on the over or the under?
A cup of coffee.
So
Sir.
over under, what's the number?
48.
Well, I just said 27-23, so I have it at 50.
Okay, so want to do it at 50? I'll take the over 50.
Okay.
I'll take the under.
Because I got this at 30.
Okay, wait. What are we betting on?
Cup of coffee.
That's trash.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to just let him talk.
All right. So I think this is the game that we talked about where The fact of the matter is that last week I wanted to play conservative and safe. Now this is the game where you empty out the playbook. I think you can take the shots when they're allowed. Unlike last week, because I think you need to score points in this one. I am concerned about the Bengals offense. I think they can score on the Bills defense. I know it was only 7 plays, but it is a little concerning. So I think you need to, like when you go up against Patrick Mahomes in a game, I think you need to push the envelope. In games before where I've said be cautious and a little safer, this is the one where you want to push the envelope, get the Bengals into a hole. I like this one to be 30-24. Bills need 30 points to win. They need 30 points to win.
He's very definite about
Yeah,
this.
he is. He's definite about everything in his life.
That's fair.
That's
I think this one is the high-flying game that we expect to
want.
see.
Weather does not seem to be a factor.
No.
Going to be some light snow expected.
Playoff football weather.
Playoff football. Playoffs.
We'll be in the press box.
Yeah, I'm going to be out on the field for this one. I'm not going to lie, I missed being on the field in the last game. Mostly because Mike was just talking my ear off the entire time.
I have to teach her
Jenna,
what
this
goes-
is going to be a problem.
Well, that's because she doesn't know how to use a computer.
That's technology.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
Whoa.
Well, she didn't
First
even
of all-
bring one.
Yeah.
Well, my computer did break.
And she broke it, brought the other
Okay,
one.
I literally told you. I was like, what I'm doing will break my computer. The highlights weren't coming down. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just
Go
missed
back
being out
down
on
the
the
field with your sandwich. Dan and I will have a
I'm not going to lie.
catered
The
meal.
press box food was
I think you got to score
awesome.
points.
I mean, yeah,
27.
you obviously have to score points. I'm just saying, with how aggressive they were and some of the turnovers you saw last week, I think it's more of a game where it's about possession.
I will take no special pride in being correct for a second straight week.
Okay.
I want to see
The-
some longer
the line
drives,
is
eat up
50.
the play clock, things like that.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way, what is the actual line on the game?
At
Over-under.
the taping of this, the over/under is 48.5.
Okay.
That seems low.
No, I guess I have it over, but I'm going to go under for these purposes.
What are we,
I'm
what are we
adjusting your
wagering?
line. We said it's a cup of coffee.
That's so lame.
A Buffalo Plus mug.
hold on.
You have
Okay,
to buy
first of all,
The cheapest one of the group is talking about it being lame. You must think you're going to
well,
win.
I don't have to buy that much stuff.
Oh.
All right.
right.
Maybe pizza. Pizza
Okay.
and wings.
Pizza and wings. Yeah. We'll charge it to the
It's
company
food.
anyhow.
It's food. Jenna makes
Okay,
it
a
food.
cup of coffee is like $4.
Yeah.
Pizza and wings is.
All right.
All right.
Eh.
50.
Right.
50 is the number.
Comment what you think the score
Under.
is going
Yeah.
to be.
Over.
And buy the merch.
And buy the merch. Yeah, we have mugs.
Yeah.
Hats. Hoodies.
Hoodies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quarter zips.
Yeah.
Yeah, the quarter zips are really sharp.
Let James
too.
cook.
Yeah.
Mike was right.
Throw the damn ball.
Oh, we haven't made that one yet.
No.
No, we need a holding Fates accountable one too.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
coming.
For Mike and my brother Dan. We'll catch you next time here. I'm Jenna on Buffalo Plus. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.